I'm Cece, and today I will be talking about the impact of overscheduling kids. It's time we think about setting limits, not just for screen time, but for activities too. Kids and parents want to get better in their activities, but parents don't realize some of the side effects that come from overscheduling. Some of the side effects include stress, moodiness, difficulty sleeping, decline in grades, forgetfulness, behavioral changes, physical complaints, and a lack of interest in activities. Most parents realize that their kid's schedule is too full, but they don't do anything about it. Parents are so hyper-focused on their kids, not missing out on any experiences, winning sports games, and getting good grades all at the same time. That's why it's so important to build in free time for kids. Downtime isn't bad. It's when kids learn to solve problems, handle frustration, and become flexible thinkers. Free time should feel relaxing, not something to feel guilty about. To help kids find balance, parents can set limits, schedule downtime, be good role models, watch for signs of stress, encourage open conversations, and make time for family. Think about a typical day. By the time your kid wakes up, gets ready, goes to school, participates in activities, come home, do homework, and get ready for bed, there's hardly any time left for family or just relaxing together. That's why implementing free time matters so much. When kids are overscheduled, they can experience burnout at a young age. Burnout is that feeling of being completely worn out emotionally, mentally, and physically. It can come from too much stress, too many high-pressure situations, and not enough time to recharge and relax. In the end, overscheduling exposes kids to challenges they shouldn't have to face yet. As they get older, grades and performance in sports will matter more, but for now, parents need to find that healthy balance. Sports and school should help kids grow, not overwhelm them. When we implement free time, we give kids the chance to love what they do and not dread it. Let's help kids enjoy their childhood and not rush through it. Thank you.
Imagine being kept in a dark, cold cage that is only 6 inches taller than you, standing and sleeping on thin metal wires, never getting to go outside, and having a life expectancy of only 12 weeks. This is the reality for many dogs today. Hi, I'm Clear Phillips, and I'm talking about dog welfare and puppy mills. If you are wondering what exactly a puppy mill is, here's what it means. A puppy mill is a commercial dog breeding facility that a U.S. District Court once described as, quote, a dog breeding operation in which the health of the dogs is disregarded in order to maintain a low overhead and maximize profits. I love animals and I have 2 dogs. My dogs are so important to me, and it breaks my heart that animals are being treated so inhumanely just so puppy mill owners can try to make money. The statistics on puppy mills are hard to believe. There are an estimated 10,000 puppy mills in the U.S., and approximately 4.3 million puppies are born in puppy mills every year. Imagine if in New Canaan, every single person had 200 dogs. That's the same number of dogs born every single year in puppy mills. That's over 40 million puppies born into terrible conditions and suffering over 10 years. 70% of puppy mills operate illegally and follow no standards of humane care for their animals. There's no outdoor or indoor exercise, and they stack cages as tall as possible. There are no grooming requirements, and the flooring is thin, uncomfortable wire. Puppy mills are full of pest infestations like ticks and fleas, as well as communicable diseases like pneumonia and kennel cough. Even worse, breeders continue to use dogs with genetic problems as breeding stock because they are not concerned with long-term outcomes and don't have to pay for veterinary care. Generations of puppies suffer from genetic defects and other health issues. In addition, female dogs are bred twice a year and are usually killed or abandoned when they can no longer produce puppies. Mothers and their litters often suffer from malnutrition, exposure, and lack of adequate veterinary care. In one terrible example, a puppy mill operator in New York used a makeshift gas chamber to kill 93 dogs and puppies, putting groups of 5 or 6 at a time into a sealed whelping box, which he had hooked up to his tractor engine. Fortunately, legislation is increasing across the country that seeks to crack down on puppy mill operations and encourage more humane breeding facilities. Excluding breeding animals, as many as 2 million dogs die in puppy mills each year. Almost half of mill puppies are purchased by pet shops, chains, and superstores. Even those that survive to this point, if unadopted, often face euthanasia, which is the practice of intentionally ending a life. The path a puppy takes from birth in the mill to its final owner is commonly called the puppy pipeline. For most dogs, the pipeline includes the puppy mill, the truck or the transport, the brokerage, and the pet shop. Investigations have uncovered abuse and neglect at all points in this pipeline, from improper transportation to unsanitary housing. Veterinarians, breeding associations, and animal rights groups all support along all puppy mills. Here's what you can do. The best way to help stop puppy mills is by not supporting them and not buying puppies at pet stores. Opt for adopting a pet from a local animal shelter or rescue organization. You can also help stop puppy mills by spreading awareness and educating people about the issue. You can volunteer at local animal shelters or donate money to organizations fighting against puppy mills, such as the Wounded Paw Project and the ASPCA. I've been personally involved the past 4 years in volunteering with a dog rescue organization called Danny Ronald's Rescue. Danny Ronald's have saved and adopted out more than 15,000 dogs in the past 20 years, bringing each one of them into their home and caring for them until they find their forever home. Organizations and people like this give me hope that the outlook for dogs may one day be much brighter. Dogs are such a big part of our lives and stand by and are there for us time and time again. Why shouldn't we be there for them? Thank you.
Imagine sitting in the stands, watching the sport you love, knowing the only thing keeping you off the field is the cost. Hi, I'm Alice Berry, and I'm going to be talking about the cost and accessibility of club sports teams. I play lacrosse, and playing on a high-level team has been such an important learning experience for me. But the truth is, the only thing standing between a talented kid and their dream of playing is often a price tag. When I'm on the field, I'm not thinking about this. I'm focused on the game, my teammates, and getting better. But once you start to understand the cost and accessibility of club sports, it changes how you see everything. Before I really understood this issue, I thought making a team was just about hard work and dedication. And yes, those things matter. But what happens when hard work isn't enough? What happens when the talent is there but the money isn't? Well, this cost barrier shows up in every part of club sports. It starts with tryouts, continues through team fees, and it doesn't stop there. It includes transportation, hotels, equipment, and so many additional costs. For example, in lacrosse, it can cost just around $110 to try out and over $3,000 to play. That's before you even consider travel expenses, tournaments, or extra gear. An example from my experience is during a fall ball tournament for my team, we went to 2 tournaments, and for one of them, we had to get a whole new uniform. Now think about families with lower incomes. Even if their child makes the team, they might not be able to afford to take time off work to travel to tournaments. And as players get older, these tournaments become more important. So what happens then? And that leads to a bigger question, who's getting left out? Research shows that higher income parents are much more likely to have children who play club sports and specialize in one sport. In fact, many club sports families have household incomes of over $150,000 per year. That means access to higher level sports is often directly tied to how much money a family has. When you add everything together, families can end up spending thousands of dollars each year on just one child's sport. So again, we have to ask, what about the families who simply can't afford that? This isn't just about sports, it's about opportunity. As school and community programs lose funding, more kids are being pushed towards expensive club teams as their only option to keep improving. But for families who can't afford it, that means fewer chances to play, grow, and be part of a team. Another fact is that club sports can cost a lot by running all sorts of clinics and other offerings throughout the year, which can further add to the cost. Although this is expensive, most clubs are running clinics that are intended to make you better. But the question still stands, how do kids of families who can't afford all this extra costly training keep up? At the same time, mental health challenges among teens are increasing, and sports can provide a safe, supportive environment where kids can build confidence and feel a sense of belonging. If access to sports becomes limited by income, then some kids are not losing just a game, but an important support system. So why does this matter? Why should club sports be more affordable? Sports teach lessons that go far beyond the field. They build teamwork, discipline, leadership, and resilience. These are skills that stay with kids for the rest of their lives, in school, in relationships, and in their future careers. Every kid deserves a chance to experience that, not just the ones who can afford it. In conclusion, every athlete deserves a chance to step out into the field and see what they're capable of. Not just the ones with the resources, but every kid with the drive, passion, and love for the game. When we make sports more accessible, we're not building stronger athletes, we're building stronger, more confident people. Thank you.
Did you know that $500 million worth of land is lost each year due to coastal erosion? Imagine going to sleep in your home and waking up to rising water slowly taking it away. This is already happening in places like Nantucket. My name is Lily Burns, and I believe the coastal erosion is a serious problem that needs stronger solutions to protect these communities. Communities like Nantucket need stronger and smarter solutions to protect their lands and homes from erosion. Between 1998 and 2009, the U.S. lost an area of wetlands larger than the state of Rhode Island. Houses are being swept up in storms. Imagine going to bed on a normal night with the moon facing the right direction and everyone is sound asleep. Suddenly, you wake up to rising water slowly taking the houses away and sweeping them out to sea. This is happening on islands and coasts all around the world. Erosion is a big deal, and on islands like Nantucket, it's caused by natural forces such as strong wave action, storm surges, and sea level rise. It has the power to wash away rocks, buildings, and whole beaches. Even 1 or 2 feet of coastal erosion can be catastrophic. If sea levels rise further in places like Nantucket, more and more houses will be destroyed each day, and the human response is critical. A way we could herd the sea back is by building hard structures to stabilize the shoreline. Additionally, there are government-established organizations to help address coastal erosion or simply raise awareness. Recently, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has re-emphasized the need to consider a range of solutions to coastal erosion, not just structural ones. For instance, non-structural shore protection methods can control coastal erosion, as can structural solutions. We need to increase shoreline protection as more intense storms are predicted to become more frequent, and climate change continues to shift the overall frequency of all storms. In some cases, the one way to prevent structures from causing harm may be to remove them entirely. After the structure has been removed, communities usually dedicate the land to public open space or transfer it to land trusts for protection. We need to increase shoreline protection as more intense, However, beach nourishment has also become a controversial shore protection measure, in part because it can adversely affect a range of natural resources. These projects must constantly comply with a range of complex laws and regulations. Adding sand to a beach does not guarantee that it will stay there. Some communities bring in large volumes of sand repeatedly, only to see it wash away in the next storm. In conclusion, the small island of Nantucket is in danger because of the storms, which are bringing the shoreline up higher than the houses on the beach. The evidence presented shows that these risks are well documented and require urgent attention. We need to pay more attention to small islands and find ways to prevent the normalization of houses being swept away. Thank you.
Have you ever felt left out because you couldn't play sports even though you looked perfectly healthy? It's confusing and frustrating when others can't see what you're dealing with. My name is Charlie Edenbach, and I want to share my story about living with JIA, or juvenile arthritis. JIA is an autoimmune disease that targets your joints, causing pain and swelling. It happens when your own immune system mistakenly attacks the joints, thinking something harmful is there. I was diagnosed with JIA last spring. There is currently no cure, and it's still under research. Many people, even doctors, often dismiss symptoms as just growing pains. Most people think arthritis is just for old people, but kids can get it too. I missed an entire lacrosse season, which was really tough. I had to sit on the sidelines and just watch. There's actually 7 different types of arthritis that fall under the umbrella of JIA. And JIA doesn't just affect your joints, it can also impact your eyes and skin. Some symptoms you might notice are swelling, pain, and warmth. To help with the swelling, I get a shot that weakens my immune system. That means my knee doesn't swell as much, but I get sick more easily. My arthritis is in my left knee. Living with JIA means dealing with lots of shots and blood work, which isn't fun. If my knee swells up, doctors have to remove the fluid, and sometimes I get a cortisone shot, basically steroids being pumped into my knee. And there's a lot I have to manage just to keep things under control. Around 300,000 kids in the US live with JIA. Some might only have it for a few years while others deal with it for their whole childhood. Unfortunately, a lot of kids aren't diagnosed right away because people think it's just growing pains. It's true that some symptoms overlap and joints don't always look swollen. Ironically, if your joints do swell, it might actually help you get diagnosed. JIA also can affect more than just your joints. It can impact your skin, lungs, heart, and even your growth. For kids, that's a big deal because anything that affects how you can grow can have long-term effects. For me, things got real after spring break. I got sick and my parents took me to the doctor. After that, I went to an orthopedic specialist to check on my knee. They removed the fluid from my knee and found a high white blood cell count, which meant more blood work. After all the tests, the doctors diagnosed me with JIA, which meant missing the entire lacrosse season and sitting on the sidelines, which was rough. Eventually, I had to go to New York to get a cortisone shot. The doctor who gave me the shot was really nice. He talked about football and how his kid plays competitive chess, which distracted me from what was happening. After the shot, I could barely walk at first, but in a few minutes, I was fine, and my knee stopped swelling. Thanks to that treatment, I was ready for next sports season. Now I have to take a shot every other week just to keep things under control. I'm feeling good, and I'm ready for redemption this lacrosse season. Thank you.
Imagination is the capacity to consider objects or events in their absence or as they might be, whether that's planning your game strategies or daydreaming during class. Imagination, ingenuity, and innovation are all big parts of creativity, and creativity is a big part of the world. Imagination isn't just a fragment of our lives, it is a very necessary part of our society. Though the use of artificial intelligence, AI, is slowly demolishing it by stealing art and masking it as human creation. Hello, I'm Stella, and today I will discuss the importance of creativity and the threat of AI. AI is very useful, but can become very destructive. I do understand how revolutionary AI might seem. Realistic pictures, super fast. You need a sign for your company? AI can do it in less than 5 seconds. If you run out of time for an essay, just make AI do it for you. How bad could it be? The fact is, AI is detrimental to learning and growth. The true value of brainstorming stems from the diversity of ideas rather than multiple voices repeating similar thoughts. According to Wharton's study on creativity and AI is dangerous because it often produces many similar ideas. AI is revolutionary, but it will reduce your ability to have independent thoughts if you rely too heavily on it. If you and a friend were to put the exact same prompt into AI, what do you think the outcome would be? AI lacks originality and is fairly predictable. Your outcomes would most likely be very similar. But AI can be useful, like asking it to look for flaws in your work. This way of using AI is beneficial towards yourself by helping you improve with suggestions without directly making it or fixing it for you. You probably have many memories of doing crafts and creating as a younger child. Unfortunately, kids seem to lose their creative spirit over time. Keeping and encouraging younger kids to stay creative is important for their development. Studies show that creativity helps kids to be more resilient and less anxious, and gives them a greater ability to express their feelings. The more a child believes in their powers of creativity, the more they believe that whatever happens to them, they can overcome it because they can figure out a way to survive. This is Angus Fletcher,
professor of story science at Ohio State University. From this, it's very evident that creativity plays a big role in one's life. But with the new threat of AI, all of this could be at stake. Picture the future 100 years from now. How do kids behave? Do the people still have the positive characteristics that we have today? These people who use ChatGPT for their essays or exams could be future lawyers, teachers, or even doctors. In 100 years, maybe even 10, kids could be significantly less creative. With new brain rot and AI slop, people stop being innovative and creating on their own. If we support the spew of repetitive concepts and standard notions, we will become homogenized by AI, and future generations could lose the creative imagination that we have today. Thank you.
Did you know that more than half of the children in the U.S. under 8 years old spend an average of 2 hours and 25 minutes a day on their personal devices? My name is Juniper Knockman, and I'm here to talk about kids' addiction to screens and what we can do about it. First, let's talk about how spending too much time on electronic devices can cause emotional and behavioral problems in children, as well as a lack of mental growth and social development. If I were to take an iPad away from a young child, you'd think I was cutting off their oxygen. The kids of today are hardly able to have an actual conversation, to look people in the eyes and have an actual conversations with their families and surrounding adults. The other day, I asked 10 lower schoolers what their favorite thing to do is, and 8 out of 10 said they enjoy playing video games or doing other things with their electronics. So imagine that around 80% of all the kids in the US are spending all their time rotting their brains on an iPad instead of playing outside and doing other non-electronic activities. What does that do to our world today? In addition, apps and games are designed to be very addictive. For example, on apps like TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, the scrolling feature is designed to be addictive, and your feed pays attention to what topics you might like to watch and gives you more of those topics. Take this as an example. Many adults today are addicted to gambling and slot machines. Scrolling is supposed to attract your brain the same way slot machines do. For kids, scrolling may lead to anxiety, which is harmful for many young children in the US. Not all screens are bad, though. We can use them for educational purposes, to stay connected with family and friends, and even to showcase our artistic skills. So what can we do? Set limits for ourselves. Try to limit screen time during the week and have zones in the house that are device-free, such as bedrooms and dinner tables. Even cutting back just an hour would make a big difference. We can try new activities such as sports, art classes, building Legos, reading, and even just going outside. Much healthier and just as fun. Parents can also help by managing all screen time and not being on their phones all the time. Screens are not the enemy. They can help us learn and stay connected, but too much of anything is bad for us. If we take control of our screen time, we can build healthier habits, stronger relationships, and a stronger life. Finally, we need to be aware. Ask yourself, am I using my screen or is it using me? Thank you.
Did you know that girls flag football will be in the 2028 Olympics? What started as a small sport is now one of the fastest growing sports for girls. Hi, I'm Paloma, and I believe more girls should be encouraged to play flag football because it builds confidence and opens new doors to new opportunities both on and off the field. I began playing flag football in 2023 in a co-ed league. Being the only girls team, I often felt intimidated going up against boys, and I doubted my abilities. However, as I kept playing, my confidence grew and my skills improved. This experience showed me that more girls deserve the chance to discover their own strengths through flag football. Flag football has exploded in popularity in recent years. From 2023 to 2024, nearly 70,000 girls played high school flag football, and over 25,000 more joined the following year. The sport is now offered in high schools and colleges and will soon debut in the 2028 Olympics. At the college level, 15 NAIA schools now offer women's flag football, and it has already been approved as an emerging varsity sport for women. Girls flag football is already ahead of where girls beach volleyball started. Internationally, countries like Spain have professional women's flag football leagues. In 2023, the Pro Bowl switched from tackle to flag football, signaling a big shift in the sport. NFL clubs also recognized the growing interest among girls and voted to financially support women's professional flag football. Today, more than 1,000 schools have flag football programs, showing just how much the sport has taken off. Flag football gives girls the chance to compete, build confidence, and be part of a supportive team. It also opens new doors for scholarships and potential careers in sports, coaching, and leadership. In conclusion, girls flag football is growing rapidly from local teams to the Olympics. My own experience proved how much it can boost confidence and empower girls to pursue their goals. That's why it's important to encourage more girls to play, not for anyone else, but for themselves. Thank you.
I don't always listen to coaching, especially when it's coming from my dad, and I know I probably should. That made me start thinking about what actually makes a good coach. Hi, I'm Matthew Gutilius, and my topic is on why coaching is important. A good coach can make a big difference in how kids learn, grow, and feel about their sport that they are playing. My experience with coaches has always been good because my coaches have cared about what I'm doing. One of my coaches jokes about my arm, but it's friendly and makes practice fun. This shows that good coaches build strong relationships with their players. Because of this, I think most kids would rather have a coach who is friendly than a coach who doesn't care. You also need a coach you like and feel comfortable with. According to John Wooden, a good coach can change your game. A great coach can change a life. This quote shows why coaching really matters. Good coaching creates a clear philosophy and provides a coach with a roadmap for helping players improve. It also helps coaches share their beliefs about how to develop individuals and a team. Studies have shown that kids want a coach who encourages them and cares about their sport. For example, many athletes say they play better when they feel supported instead of yelled at. Some kids even quit their sports Some kids even quit their sports when coaching is too negative. In fact, about 70% of kids quit their sport by age of 13. And bad coaching is one of the reasons. Kids have said they don't like coaches who yell, use humiliation, or only focus on winning. Coaching is important because if you want to succeed, you need to have a coach who cares about you and really understands what you need to work on. Some coaches are really nice, but also push you because they want you to succeed. They want you to care and do your best. On the other hand, some coaches are more strict and pushy, and for some kids, they need that. Now, you might be wondering, why is this kid talking about coaching and why does he care? I care about this topic because coaches are mean or don't care about what you're doing, which can lead to kids quitting their sport. I think people don't always get the coach they want, and if the coach is being too negative, kids should talk to their parents about it. And if someone here is a coach, you should think about what your players need, even if you think you're a great coach. There is always something you can do more to improve. Coaching is important because it helps kids grow as athletes and as people. A great coach can build confidence and support their players. Maybe that's why someday I'll start listening more, because good coaching really does matter. Thank you.
Water has sustained life for millions of years, providing us with drinking water, supporting industry, energy production, and more. But for fish, water is not just a resource, it's their entire world. Hi, I'm Zach Welsh.
and I want to talk about how water pollution is harming marine life and why protecting our oceans matters. Imagine living in an environment where the very air you breathe could kill you. For some fish, this is daily reality. Between 2023 and 2024, fish kills increased rapidly, with 176% more fish dying because of water pollution. We cannot let this continue. This crisis affects not only fish, but also threatens our own health. If water pollution persists, the water you drink every day could become dangerous. Many man-made sources like septic tanks, sewers, stormwater runoff, and fertilizers contribute to this problem. These sources release large amounts of nutrients, particularly nitrogen and phosphorus, into the water. When these nutrients leak into the aquatic habitats, they deplete oxygen levels, often killing fish, sometimes causing mass deaths in less than 48 hours. Now that you understand the problem, here are some practical ways on how to help prevent it. Don't blow leaves into the road. They can clog storm drains. Avoid spreading mulch on grass right before it rains, as it may wash into rivers or ponds. Wash your car and tools where the runoff flows onto grassy or gravel areas, not into storm drains. Never dump leftover motor oil or chemicals into storm drains. Take them to an auto shop or hazardous waste facility for safe disposal. If a hazardous spill occurs, use sand or kitty litter to absorb it. Let it solidify, then sweep it up and throw it away. Floods are another major cause of water pollution. When floods sweep through urban, agricultural, and industrial areas, they pick up hazardous chemicals and carry them into ponds and rivers, often killing fish. While we cannot prevent natural disasters, we can take steps to reduce their impact on aquatic life. Secure hazardous household chemicals and maintain septic systems to prevent leaks during floods. Invest in green infrastructure such as permeable pavements and rain gardens. Permeable pavement allow water to soak through and filter underground, while rain gardens collect and filter rain or flood water, reducing the amount of pollution reaching natural waterways. In conclusion, if we allow water pollution to continue, we may face serious consequences ourselves. If we care about the future, we must act today. Countless lives, both human and aquatic, have already been lost, but we can prevent further harm. If you live near rivers, lakes, or seas, please take care of them for your safety and the well-being of the fish. Thank you. Thank you all for attending 60 speeches. We are so grateful to everyone who helped make this day possible. A special thank you to Mr. Back for providing tech support and to Mrs. Roslin, Mrs. Cohen, and Mrs. Siegel for coordinating the many behind-the-scenes details that kept our day running smoothly. To Mrs. Cowley and Mrs. Fry, thank you for always being there to step in and listen to us practice. To our families and friends, thank you for the time, patience, and encouragement you gave us, especially through countless rounds of practice. To our families and friends, thank you for and finally to our incredible teachers, Mrs. Gardner, Mrs. Avere, Mrs. Peck, Mrs. Hearn, Mr. Brown, Mr. Martin, and Mrs. Brooks. Thank you for guiding us, challenging us, and helping us grow as writers and speakers. We hope today's presentations left you feeling inspired, just as have been inspired throughout this experience.